Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday, everyone out there. Elaine Proby here, CEO of PROBY'S Tax and Accounting, and tips from Elaine's desk with our weekly conversation, guys. And today we're going to bring some very valid information, questions that I get all the time. I have a lot of people calling me all the time and asking me, should they form a nonprofit? So today I want to talk about the 3 differences between a nonprofit and a for-profit corporation. So this is a question most people have. They'll call and they said, I want to start a nonprofit. What do you think? And I usually have to ask them a lot of questions to make sure that they know what they're getting themselves into and if that's really what they need to form, and or whether they should form a for-profit corporation. So today I want to point out 3 different reasons, which is the difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit corporation. And you guys make notes of this, hit like and share on this video. People have to understand this process because it's very important, and there's absolutely no way around it. Okay, so I want to jump into this stuff. A lot of times, I mean, when you decide to form a nonprofit, is because you have a social mission. It's because you have an idea that you want to help serve the community, and you want to make sure that that is what you're going to be fulfilling with a nonprofit corporation. Unlike if you're forming a for-profit corporation, we're going to talk about the difference between that today. All right. So once again, welcome to Tips from Elaine's Desk. So let's jump right into this. This is going to be short and sweet. Let's jump right into this broadcast. And the first point today, 3 differences between a nonprofit and a for-profit corporation. The first point today, guys, that we really want to cover is the legal structure. And this is where a lot of people go wrong with the legal structure of a nonprofit or a for-profit corporation. So what happens is when you form a nonprofit, typically it is to provide, of course, a service to the community. And the legal structure is it's incorporated and it's formed as a nonprofit public benefit corporation. So this is what you have to make sure, because sometimes a lot of people will go and they'll form a corporation. They said it's a nonprofit, but then it's really haven't been formed as a nonprofit. There's a legal structure that has to take place, and it has to be formed for a public benefit corporation. It's something totally different. So you need to make sure that you incorporate it as such, right? And if you are a for-profit, you can then form a regular corporation or a regular LLC, right? Which is a stock corporation where you can issue stock to whomever. And this is the difference between the 2 legal structure. The nonprofit, again, let me repeat, is a public benefit corporation. This is how you're going to set it up initially, because that's the whole purpose. Okay, so the first point today, guys, is making sure that you form an entity with the correct legal structure if it's a nonprofit, and if it is for profit, you can form it as a stock benefit corporation or as an LLC. So either way, both of those organizations have to be done correctly in the first place for you to even get started, especially if you're a nonprofit. So if it's not formed properly, then of course you'll have an issue going forward getting the other stuff that we're going to talk about in terms of the tax benefits and so on and so forth. Okay. So today, there's 3 differences between a for-profit and a nonprofit corporation is what we are discussing today. Hi, Laverne. Hit like and share on this video, guys. Hit like and share on this video. Okay, so now the other part about this is the nonprofit, guys. The nonprofit has what they call members, right? And then the for-profit, in its legal structure, you have stockholders. You know, you have stockholders in a for-profit, and in a nonprofit, there are members. So this is the difference between the 2. The public own the entity. No one in particular own a nonprofit. People don't understand that. When they want to form a nonprofit, you do not own the nonprofit. It is owned by the public. So you have no rights to anything that belongs to that nonprofit organization. None of its intellectual property, none of it belongs to any one person. So for you guys out there who wants to start a nonprofit and you form a nonprofit, you don't really own that business. It's the public that own the business, and you don't own anything that belongs to that business, right? You don't own the cash that comes in. You don't own any of the assets that comes in. It belongs to the public. That's the difference, and you have to be careful with that when you get ready to form a nonprofit. You don't own it. Now, of course, when you form a for-profit corporation, the stockholders, anyone else can be a part, can be an owner of that of your corporation. Your stockholders, anybody that is a part of the corporation will own the corporation. The assets of the corporation, the public property for the corporation, all of it belongs to those people who runs the corporation. Totally different. Make sure you know the difference before you start either forming a corporation and or forming a nonprofit corporation. Okay, you have to know the difference. This is so vital, so important. Okay, so again, I get this question all the time. Yes, Mr. Sean, thanks for jumping on here. Hello, hello. Okay, you guys, hit like and share again. We're talking about the difference between a for-profit and nonprofit corporation. Everybody asks this question all the time because they're not sure which one they should do. Now, the second point today, use of profits. So important. Again, guys, there is a fine line between doing this right and doing it wrong. Use of profits. If you have a nonprofit corporation, it's just like I said, you don't own it, meaning that you can't take those profits. You have to take the money that is made and reinvest it in the corporation for the purpose. You have to have a specific purpose. You have to be serving the community, whatever your purpose is for that nonprofit. All the money that's made, contributions, everything has to be reinvested for the purpose, for the benefit of the community that you're serving with the nonprofit. You cannot take that money. You cannot give it to anyone. You cannot split it up. You don't own it. It do not belong to you. Now, the only thing you can do is get paid for your services. Very important. I emphasize this so many times with people. You can only get paid for your services, but you cannot take any of the assets, any of the money, any of the profits, and split it up with any member of a nonprofit entity. You must reinvest it for the purpose of that nonprofit. Now, if you have a for-profit, of course, the profit, you can take it, distribute it to all the stockholders, everybody that's a part of the corporation, anyone that's entitled to a part of the benefit based on how your partnership is set up in that corporation. If you're the only person in there, of course, that money all belongs to you. If you have stockholders, if you have partners, anybody has invested in there, then that money gets split up based on their percentages. So whatever you do with the profits from a for-profit corporation, it's up to you to make that distribution, and it's perfectly fine. You don't really have to answer to anyone but whoever has any type of investment in that corporation, okay? Or anybody that has something to do with it. That's the only place you have to make sure that everybody gets their share of the profits, okay? That's the difference. So if you have the nonprofit, you know what not to do. If it's for profit, you can distribute those profits to everybody involved, all right? So once again, you guys, hit like and share this video. We're talking about the difference between a for-profit and a nonprofit. Reason for this conversation today, just got asked again, should I form a nonprofit? So many people is asking me this question, and they know that they have an idea, they have a purpose in mind, but they don't even know the difference, and they don't even know if they should. Good afternoon, Darla Palacio. Thanks for jumping on here. Cognac Bosselina, thank you. Good afternoon, guys. Hit like and share. We're discussing what happened, the difference between a for-profit and a non-profit corporation today. Okay, so make notes of this, guys. Very important. Third point today, taxation. Okay, so taxation. So typically, a not-for-profit, you're forming this entity, and it's basically to serve the community. You're going to make money, take donations, all this stuff, right, for the community. However, you have to get a 501c3 or 501c or whatever status based on what type of nonprofit you have formed, whether it's a school or church or what have you. There's different numbers and letters that the IRS assign you. And what that does, it is so you could be exempt from paying taxes on the money that the nonprofit makes. Now, this is so important. So many people miss this step. They form a nonprofit corporation and they think they're a nonprofit, and they go along for years saying they're a nonprofit. But what they have not done is you have to apply to the federal government for a non-exempt tax status so that you don't pay taxes on the money that you make. A lot of people miss the step. And also you have to do the same thing with the state. Depending on what state you're in, you also have to file for an exemption from taxes. So guys, there's three things that has to happen. You form your nonprofit corporation, you got to file for your exempt status from the federal, and you have to file for the exempt status from the state so you don't pay any taxes. A lot of people miss this. I have a lot of cases where I have to go back, file your state exempt, and kind of clean this up a bit because we always miss some of these steps. Now, for a profit, you have to pay taxes on all the profit that you make. Keep in mind, it's not your gross, it's after your expense deduction. Whatever the profit is, the for-profit corporation must pay the necessary taxes to the federal, state government, according to whatever that regulation is. They have to pay those taxes. If you distribute those profits to shareholders, stakeholders, you distribute those profits, they got to pay taxes on that money when they receive it as well. So the corporation will pay taxes, the shareholders will pay taxes, everyone has to pay taxes on the profits of a for-profit corporation. All right, so those are the 3 points I wanted to make. Very, very, very important. Again, I get questions all day long on this stuff. Okay, thanks for jumping on here, Mary. Thanks for jumping on here, Lorna. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mary. Good afternoon, Lorna. Thanks for the hearts. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, guys, so let me go back and recap 3 differences between a for-profit and a non-profit. Now, I love the fact that a lot of people want to form a nonprofit because a lot of people feel there's a need to serve the community and do some stuff to help out. But they have to understand the differences between the two. Okay, so the first one is the legal structure. When you form your nonprofit, it has to be formulated as a nonprofit public benefit corporation. It has to be set up that way initially when you incorporate. All right, for profit, you just set it up as a general stock organization, corporation, or an LLC. You turn that into an S Corp, which is an election you make with the federal government. That is perfectly fine. This is the difference of the legal structure. The for-profit, the nonprofit has to be set up as a nonprofit to start with. All right, so second point today, guys, use of profits. Use of profits. The nonprofit, you don't own the company, you don't own the nonprofit. I don't care if you started it. I don't care if it was your grand idea. You do not own it. It's owned by the public. You cannot take the money. You cannot take any property from that organization. You have to take the money that a nonprofit makes or gets contributed to from. You have to take that money and reinvest it in the nonprofit organization to wind up making sure that all the specific purpose of that organization to serve the public, to serve the community is going to be met. Those needs got to be met with that money. You cannot take it, but you can pay yourself for services. That's the only money you can get out of it, is paying yourself for services rendered, right? A reasonable salary for services rendered. You can't just take whatever money you want from it. Now, if it's for profit, of course, the profit, you can split it up between, you distribute it to all the shareholders. If it's just you're the only one in that corporation, then all that money belongs to you. No problem there. You don't have to explain anything to anyone. You don't have to really answer to anyone. That profit belongs to you and or anyone else that's involved in your corporation. Third point, taxation. You must, guys, I can't emphasize this enough. So many companies come to me with a problem because they didn't take this step. You must file a form with the federal government to be tax exempt. So if you're a nonprofit organization, now you got to file an application for the non-exempt status so you don't pay taxes on the money the nonprofit makes. And if you're a for-profit, of course, no problem there. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay taxes on all the profits. If you distribute to the shareholders, they have to pay taxes on that. Okay, so, and you don't have to answer to anyone. Once again, all you got to do is take the money and pay your taxes, and you can go about your merry way, and everybody is happy, right? So those are my 3 points today. All right, so Geronimo, how you doing? Thanks for jumping in here. Great information. Kodiak says, Rod Smith, thanks for jumping on. You guys hit like and share. Again, today's 3 differences between a for-profit and nonprofit. Now, I also get this question. A lot of people ask me, can you have both? Yes, of course, you can have your for-profit corporation where you're going to form it, you're going to make money from it, and you do whatever you want. Your for-profit can also make a donation to your nonprofit. So you can actually have a for-profit corporation where you're making money and do what you want with the profit. And then you can have a nonprofit corporation. For those of you who have a specific purpose to serve the community needs, you could form a nonprofit as well. So you could run a for-profit corporation and you could run a nonprofit corporation. You just have to know the difference between the two. For-profit can give a donation to the nonprofit. That is perfectly fine. But you have to know what it is that you're doing, because a lot of people operate their business as a nonprofit, and I let them know that you are not at liberty to take this money and do what you want with it. As a matter of fact, you don't even own the organization that you have started with your grand idea. I've seen it where it happened, where people who have started nonprofit have been completely voted out and has nothing to do with the nonprofit, which is something that they have actually started themselves. But because you don't own the nonprofit and the public own it, you can have other members come in and vote you completely out of it, and you won't have anything to do with it. And there's nothing you can do about it if they don't want you in it. And keep in mind, this is something that you have actually started and set up. Okay, so be careful if you want to form a nonprofit. Make sure that you really understand the process that you're getting into. And then, of course, if it's a for-profit, that's your company. Anybody invested in it, that's their company. No one has any problem. No one can say anything to you about it. No one, unless you voted out as, but you have shareholders. If you're not an officer, you still own a part of the company. So it doesn't matter what happened. You have stake in the company. Okay. All right, guys. So that's enough information there. You guys hit like and share on this video. Very, very, very important information. And go back and listen to this if you have any idea of starting a nonprofit as well as a for-profit corporation. Just go back and listen to this video, and you can do them both. So, just know the difference. Okay. So with that said, again, leave your business questions or comments. Okay. You guys leave your questions in the comments. So with that said, again, I'm talking to those people who haven't started their business yet, or who have already started their business, who wants to take it to the next level, who doesn't know what the next step should be, who's a little confused, a little concerned. Go to elaine's.com. There's information on there. If you need to get started, we have a free webinar on there. If you have already started, want to know your legal structure. A lot of people ask, should I be an LLC? Should I change to an S Corp? We're going to have to talk about, is it better to have an LLC or an S Corp later? Because everybody has this question. So it's on there. There's information on there from brainstorm to business. There's a webinar on the elaine's.com. Please go there and check it out. And then, of course, on elaine's.com. And this is the part I'm excited about. We are having, and where's that information? This is going to be great, guys. You have to come to this. Now, I got to wear these beautiful glasses so I can read this. It's called Powering Your Business Forward and Unlocking Secrets to Business Success. It's going to be a brunch. You guys come in person. There's going to be people on the panel that's going to be talking about how to structure your business, how to get a business loan, all the things that you're going to need to make that happen, how to stay in compliance, how to run an operation, how to set up a nice operation system so you can run and grow your business successfully, guys. All this stuff you'll be able to get that day while you have brunch. It's going to be at PROBY'S restaurant on Saturday, May the 20th from 11 to 2. You only need a few hours, about 3 hours of your time. You can come and get your questions answered on the spot. This is going to be so much fun. Powering your business forward. Yes, I will see you guys all there. I hope to see you guys there at Dorwood, Cognac. Everybody need to be there. You guys, this is going to be major. Okay, so make sure that everybody shows up and invite all your friends who have a business. And this will give you so much information that we can't always just do here in 20 minutes, but you'll have about 3 hours that day. You get to mix and mingle with some folks, like-minded people who's going to be able to assist you in the process of being successful. Once again, like we say, it is enough money out there for everybody. 2023 is our year. This is the time we have this business. We've been on it for a long time. Some of us have started for years, but now it's time to take it to the next level. So let's do it, okay? 2023 is our year. I love it. All right. So with that said, again, I want to remind you guys that if you have any further questions, you could go to PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. This is where my commercial comes in. Go to PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. There's a calendar there. You could book a free 15-minute consultation with me if you have any other questions regarding personal or business, finance, taxes, whatever that is, accounting, any of that good stuff. And for those of you who have not filed your taxes yet, it's getting down to the wire. If you are going to be late and getting your documents together, you can Go to PROBY'S.com, upload your documents, request an extension. We continue to do taxes all year long. So all you got to do is request an extension if you're running behind, and your taxes can get processed as soon as you get all your documents together. So, hey, make sure, though, that you file that extension so you're not late filing. Okay? So PROBY'S.com, guys. Make sure you go there. Again, we can take care of your taxes anywhere you are. We do any and every state. So go to PROBY'S.com for that information. All right. So is that it? All right, guys. So I'll be back here on Thursday. What are we talking about Thursday at 1 o'clock? Major information. And Thursday, 3 keys to mindset. 3 keys to a mindset to achieve more. Okay. All right. So we always talk about mindset because we want to make sure we're in the right frame of mind. Without the right frame of mind, guys, you're not going to accomplish anything. Let's start there. All right. The right mindset will get you where you want to go. So we're going to talk about that on Thursday. So make sure you tune back in here Thursday at 1 o'clock. Invite all your friends. Hit like and share on this video. And I will see you guys back here on Thursday. And with that said, you guys have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday afternoon. And take care of each other. Take care of yourself. All right. Thank you.